So it's hard for me to say hard, putting the R in. It just does not roll off the tongue. It is hard.
It sounds funny to hear you say it that way.
It sounds funny to hear you say it that way too.
Hard.
Hard.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work on my American accent. It may take some time.
Thank you both, Ken and Laurel, for joining. So today are going to talk about words that are different, stressed differently between the UK and the US. So we're going to go over 12 words and I'll say the word, and then Ken will give an example of how it's said in the UK, and then with a sentence, and then Laurel will give an example. Laurel from Laurel's Learning Lab will give an example of how it's said in the US, because we have Laurel here because you are an English teacher and I'm just a native English speaker. And then we'll go through the list with the different examples. All right, are you both ready?
Yes.
All right, so the first word is adult.
Adult. As an adult, I'm allowed to drink at the age of 18. As an adult, I'm allowed to drink at the age of 18.
Okay. In the US, as an adult, you're only able to drink when you are 21 or older.
Okay.
Big difference. Yeah.
Big difference, 3 years. When I was 18, my friend and I drove to Canada so we could drink because we weren't adults yet.
No.
The second word I have is mobile.
Mobile. So yes, I can use a mobile phone to ring you. I can use a mobile phone to ring you. So yeah, that's a mobile phone in the UK. And I'm quite mobile at the moment. I'm still relatively young, so I'm relatively mobile. I can get around on my own feet. I don't need a wheelchair. I'm relatively mobile.
But you don't live in a mobile home, do you?
I don't live in a mobile home. I live in a fixed house at the moment. It's not a mobile home at all.
Well, in the US, we say mobile, not mobile. So I am pretty mobile too. I have a car now. I didn't have a car for a while, so I couldn't go anywhere. But now I have a car, so I'm mobile. And I have a mobile phone that I'm on constantly. So I'm definitely connected on mobile, and I don't ring people up. I call people.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, I ring people. Oh, I can do both. I can ring and call. Interesting one. The petrol company, mobile rather than mobile. So I would call the petrol company I would call it mobile, but that is a mobile. If you can see it, that's a mobile phone.
Yeah. Well, actually, mobile has gas, not petrol.
It's petroleum spirit, I believe. It's petroleum spirit.
Okay.
All right. Our third word is Baath.
Okay, right. Okay, so I'm originally from the north of England, and I would say Baath. So I'm going to have a bath. I'm not going to take a bath. I'm going to have a bath. But you can also use in the UK Baath. And I'm not going to say it's an exact north-south of the United Kingdom, but there are two pronunciations of Bath and Bath. So yeah, I would have a bath, and I would also have a shower. But yeah, Bath and Bath.
Yes, well, in America, we take baths and we take showers, and we use that bath sound, not bath.
Okay, so you're sort of following more the north of England, or
right?
It's kind of quite similar in terms of the pair of us, at least in terms of how we speak, in terms of our accents. That it's probably quite close between the pair of us. It's not a massive difference by the sounds of it.
Right. No, Bath is what we say.
Yeah.
And have you ever gone to Baath, the city or the town?
I have been. I have. Well, I have been to Baath. I would call
I have too.
That's lovely. I would call the city Baath, but I would have a bath.
Would you have a bath in Baath?
Quite potentially, if I stayed in a hotel, yes, quite potentially.
All right. The fourth word we have is civilization.
Okay, civilization. Civilization apparently started in Africa. Civilization. Britain is a very civilized country. So obviously we would spell it with the S. And I think I pronounce it more with the S rather than the Z or the Z for you guys. So I'm interested to hear how Laurel pronounces that word.
A lot like Rachelle. I say civilization.
Right.
So I love living in civilization and not in the middle of nowhere. I always say I have to have my phone, my mobile phone. So if I'm in some place that is not civilized or the country or the middle of nowhere, then I can't get a signal. So I need to go back to civilization.
Again, it doesn't sound like a massive difference in pronunciation between the pair of us. It's not as noticeable as some of the other words. So civilization. Could you say
Yes.
civilization?
No, I don't. I say civilization.
Civilization. Oh, right, civilization. Okay, right. I'm starting to hear the difference there. You pointed that one out. So civilization. Okay, yeah. Civilization.
Versus civilization.
Okay, and now that I am back in the city and out of the sticks in civilization, we will talk about number 5, better.
Ooh,
better.
You said it the British way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting that I did that, because we were watching a video that Ken shared, English with Kim, where she talked about how people here in New England, especially near Boston, have kind of a British influence, probably from back in the time when we were the British colonies. So Ken, how do you say that?
Better. It's better that we speak in English and not in another language. I think Britain is better than the US. I think Britain is better than the US. But yeah, you're right. Rachelle and myself have a very similar pronunciation there. And one of the things I have learned over sort of reading and watching things is that I think the north of England and the east part of the US probably share slightly more in terms of pronunciation of certain words. I don't know how that differs between the west coast of the US and obviously the south and closer to the Canadian border, but certainly I think myself and Rachelle at times say words in a very similar way. And I've, on occasions when I've been chatting with Rachelle, I've picked up the occasional pronunciation and went, that's just so British.
So do you always say better, Rachelle?
I'm not sure. I think I do. I think that this butter is better than that butter.
You said it like me now.
Okay.
So this butter is better. This bottle of water. So all those soft T's that sound like D's, those are very American. Bottle of water, better, butter.
I think too that I probably am picking up a lot of the way that Ken is talking by listening to you so often. I will say I'm going to the shops and I'm starting to probably like throw in a lot of British sayings now. And I watch a lot of British television, but I do think, and as I was watching that video of English with Kim, there is definitely some of the words that she went over that I'm like, oh, I say it that way. I say it the way that they say it in the UK.
Right.
Yeah, you said butter is better. The butter is better. This side of the pond, the butter is better. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pronouncing the T's more, aren't I? Butter.
Definitely you are. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's better not to pronounce the T's.
I think it's better to pronounce the T's.
All right. On that note, the next word is garage. And right now my car is not parked in the garage.
Well, my car is definitely not parked in the garage. My car is definitely not parked in the garage. It's parked on the street. So yeah, car would be the other one I think is different to the way the pronunciation, and garage for you guys, garage. Yeah, garage.
So we say it the French way, garage. And my car with an R sound, car is in the garage.
Yeah, car. I literally dropped the end of the R off there. Car.
Yes.
And they
That's
do
very
that in
British.
Boston too. They drop the car.
Yeah.
I park the car and have a yard. And that, that would be that's probably exaggerated.
You need to park your car and have a yard.
But in
Mhm.
Boston, an hour from me, they drop the R's. We have a place that we go to and it's called the schoolyard. But
Right.
funny that you say that we say it the French way, because another thing that English with Kim said was that maybe some of the ways where we emphasize the second half of the word with the
Mhm.
stress is that
Yeah.
maybe during the Revolutionary War, when we were getting some help from France, that we've decided to say some words in the French way.
Yeah, there are many French words in the English language. As you guys, we've talked about this, and garage is one of them. There's ballet, there's buffet. We're going to talk about some of these words, and we say those the French way. And there's French expressions too.
I think over time, we're probably picking up more of the French pronunciation, because I would go ballet, go buffet as well.
Mhm.
I can't hear a massive difference. Obviously,
Right.
as you're aware, I mean, England, I'm going to be quite specific, England was invaded by the Normans in 1066. And over the several hundred years after that, they left quite a lot of their words in the English language. I don't think they really left any of their grammar, as I understand, but they left a lot of words. And if you look at words for animals and
Mhm.
the meat of the animal, one is the French and one is kind of the Anglo-Saxon or the original
Yes.
words, which were
Yes.
so French does play a large part in the
Mhm.
English language. And
Right.
obviously, in terms of the war with the French helping you guys, potentially also, you look at Canada, one of your neighbours, and the French influence there.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, obviously, we were at constant war with France. If it was a wet weekend, we had a war with France. It was just something we did. So potentially, I think because of that, the French pronunciation may have had more effect on the English, the American English pronunciation than it did on the British English pronunciation of certain words.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
theory. I could be completely wrong, but it makes sense to me, so I'm going to stick with it.
So our next word is hard.
It's hard to say that word without the R. With
It's
the
hard.
R. Yeah, without the R.
Yeah. Whereas for me, it's really easy. Hard.
Right.
Just
Right.
again, I've just taken
Hard.
the R out and thrown it away. I
Mhm.
just don't pronounce
It's kind
it
of like
at all.
Baath. So when you say Baath, you say the same vowel, hard. But we say the same vowel too, but we have the TH sounds. So Baath and then hard. With the R, it's very strong R in English.
Yeah.
So most of these words, butter, hard, all these words have the R sound, and we are very strong with that, whereas British are not.
Yeah. It's very much lost. It's if it is there, it's very soft, I think. So hard. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
hard for me to say hard, putting the R in. It just does not roll off the tongue. It is hard
It
to
sounds
say
funny
that.
to hear you say it that way.
It sounds funny to hear you say it that way too.
Hard.
Hard.
Yeah. I'm going to
It's
have
not
to
how
work
we
on
say
my
it either.
American accent. It may take some time.
So our next word is advertisement.
Advertisement. This is a
Yeah,
really
just think
difficult
about
one
that.
because people will use both in the UK. So advertisement.
Mhm.
I saw an advertisement on television yesterday for a new car.
Well, we say advertisement. So the strong is in TIZE, advertisement. And because it's such a long word, we usually just say ads.
Yeah, same here. But I know you will hear both advertisement and advertisement in the UK, and yet ads.
Yeah.
Ads.
There's some other words that we can just say here, like laboratory is the British way, and laboratory is the English way.
Yeah, laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think the thing is, some of these words you will hear both, and this could be a north-south thing. If somebody said laboratory or laboratory, I wouldn't have a problem with either and. Both work for me.
Right.
Not a problem.
You recognize them even if you don't say it that way.
Yes. Yeah.
And before we go on to our next word, if you want to skip the ads for advertisement in YouTube, you can just click the little skip ad. Our next word.
That's right. 5 seconds and you're out.
Yep, absolutely. So our next word is idea.
Idea. I'm going to say it exactly the same way.
Do
Idea.
you have any ideas?
I've got no idea. And I've got no idea why Rachelle picked this one up. I'm trying to think if there was any other way in the UK of saying it. Idea?
Do
Idea?
you say idea in the UK at all?
Idea.
Yeah. Have an idea. No
I
R.
have an idea. I have an idea. Am I
Mhm.
pronouncing the A at the end longer than you guys?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Idea.
I mean, when I say idea, I don't say the R, so you hear the A a lot more.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
am I saying it the British way or something? 'Cause-
You are. Mm-hmm.
okay.
Sometimes you don't realize how you're speaking. Like you don't even realize that. And a lot of people don't realize the difference between this sound and that sound, so they're like, oh, I sound just like you. No, actually, say it this way, try that. So it is interesting to hear some of the things you don't even know that you're saying.
Absolutely. When I was watching the video English with Kim and she was going over 30 of these words, there were some of them that was like, yep, I say it the British way. And she mentioned the reason being is that we have this close relationship because we were part of the 13 colonies. On that note, the next word we have is brochure.
Brochure.
Brochure?
Brochure.
So you emphasize the first syllable.
Brochure.
Okay, that's the difference because I emphasize the second, brochure, because that's the French pronunciation.
Yeah. Yeah. Brochure. Yeah.
Brochure.
I have a brochure about my new car. It's in color. The brochure is in color, spelt with a U. The brochure is in.
And you don't say the R strong, so my brochure is in color.
Brochure. Yeah. Just dropping that R. Brochure.
Mm-hmm. And the color R, you drop that as well. Well, a brochure is an advertisement in print, and so it's better than seeing it online.
Like that.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
And our next word is like one of my favorite because I love drinking coffee. It's caffeine.
I'm gonna go the same with you guys or with you, Rachelle. Caffeine.
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 I say the
Yeah.
same. Caffeine is
I
great,
think,
and it's your second.
I'm trying to think, how did English with Kim? She had a different way that she said caffeine that was said. I'm looking. Caffeine. She said that in Britain, they emphasize the first syllable, caffeine.
In British English, the word would be stressed on the first syllable, caffeine, caffeine. In American English, the word is stressed on the second syllable, caffeine, caffeine.
And in America,
Caffeine.
it's the second syllable is emphasized.
Is it kind of like brochure then?
I think so.
Yeah. Caffeine. Caffeine.
So the three of
Yeah.
us are saying it the same, apparently.
We say it the same way.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's one we can agree on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could do with some caffeine right now.
Okay. And then I think the last one I think we talked about, I think we all say this the same, but there's some differences, is buffet.
Yes, I say buffet.
Yeah, I would probably go with buffet as well.
British English, the word would be pronounced buffet, buffet, with stress on the first syllable. In American English, the word would be pronounced on the second syllable, buffet, buffet, buffet.
Again, I think it's one of those words which over the last sort of decade has become quite popular, and we've picked up probably more the French pronunciation than anything. Well, I certainly think that we're using the French pronunciation. I can't buffet. Buffet
No.
just sounds
No,
wrong.
no,
So
no.
I would go buffet.
Buffet. So is there
Yeah.
a schedule for the buffet near you?
There is definitely a schedule for the buffet. The buffet will start at 6. Again, schedule and schedule. Generally, if you're listening to the news and television, it's schedule, but a lot of people say schedule. I'm old school, schedule.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm American, schedule,
Schedule.
agenda, calendar. Yeah, same thing.
yeah.
Cool.
Now, if I was to come to the States and I was to go schedule, would I be looked at like I was a madman?
Exactly. Like, what is that?
That one I have a hard time. I think it was the same with the garage. I will have a hard time knowing. And some of the other ones, I think it was debris. How would you say debris?
Debris, the same.
Debris.
Debris.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
it's like,
that would be
yeah.
like, I would not sure, like, what are you talking about? Unless I would probably pick up from the sentence, but I
Mhm.
would not sure like, oh, there's some debris on the road.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You have to
debris.
say it that way.
I mean, debris. Again, it's one of those. I think because we are so used to hearing the two, they're both perfectly acceptable. Nobody's going to look at you if you said it the American way. Debris.
You're right. It seems like you accept the American pronunciation and we don't really accept the British. It's interesting.
Probably because I think my humble opinion is that there's probably so much American television, American movies and such that is being consumed that the American pronunciation is going to be accepted and heard more often, that it would be more people that might be watching a lot of British comedy or British television or BBC that might be familiar with the British pronunciation.
Yeah.
So I would think more people in the UK might be familiar with the American pronunciation.
Versus, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I have to agree totally on that one. So damned Americans have got a lot to answer for.
We're just
We're just
changing that
better.
language that you guys invented.
Well, thank you, Rachelle. This was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And next
brilliant,
time,
thank-
next time maybe we'll do something where we talk about the different words. Like I'm going to go for a walk on the sidewalk as opposed to
I'm going to take a walk on the pavement. No, you guys say take, and I would say I'm going for a walk.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm going to
going
go for a walk.
versus taking. Mhm.
so we could
There's
go
lots
through
of-
all the different words of what we call different things in the US versus the
Vocabulary.
UK. That will be the next one.
Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Thank you
Cheerio,
so much.
mate.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
No, I've been saying.
Thanks so much for watching.